My Lupus Living Room is a place to listen to the stories of ordinary, everyday people who are not afraid to share the struggles and successes of living with a chronic illness called lupus. These brave Lupians put it all out there to bring us all in. We celebrate people living with lupus. My name is Suzanne. I am a mom, a wife, a business owner, and the CEO of the Lupus Foundation of America's Greater Ohio chapter, and a whole lot more. But most of all, I have lupus. My purpose and my passion are to help other people with lupus. For me, lupus was a lonely, miserable, misunderstood disease, and I'm here to tell you that today it doesn't have to be. I want to talk more about the things we do not normally talk about. Since lupus impacts mostly women, my Lupus Living Room will have a focus on what it's like to be a woman living with this mysterious, unpredictable disease that has no cause or cure. I know that many would love to connect with others that have lupus. These women are fearless and have extraordinary stories of survival. I'm excited to welcome my not-so-famous guests, and with their inspiring stories that offer hope and inspiration to fellow Lupians. I believe this project will not only create awareness about lupus, but offer encouragement to those listening. Remember, there is no I in the word lupus, but there is the word us. The Lupus Foundation of America Greater Ohio chapter is here for you. For your chance to share your story and visit with me, you can reach out to me at Suzanne at Lupus Greater Ohio or call 1-888-NO-LUPUS. So for now, sit back, relax, and enjoy. Greetings, everyone. This is Suzanne Tierney, CEO of the Lupus Foundation of America here in Ohio. And I'm really excited to be, we have a special guest today, and I want to welcome you all to my Lupus Living Room. And many of you know my journey, have heard most of my journey with lupus, but I was a pediatric lupus patient. And the good news is I'm still here, thriving. The journey has been incredible. So whenever we talk pediatrics, I'm excited because in my timeline, there wasn't much going on. So anything new in peds, it's something that I'm really excited about. So I have a special guest today, and I can't say enough about her. It would take the whole time slot we have. But today we welcome Dr. Hermine Brunner. She's a physician. Actually, she's much more than that. She's the director of rheumatology of the Cincinnati Children's Hospital here in Ohio. And they do phenomenal pediatric work on all fronts. So Dr. Brunner, today, welcome to our show. I'm very excited to participate with you on this. I thrive on anything pediatric, okay? And most of our constituents saw the copy of our Lupus magazine. If you don't have one, just email us at info@Lupus Greater Ohio, and we'll make sure you get a copy. In it, in the magazine, there speaks to a study that is funded by the National Institute of Health that Dr. Brunner is charging away with it, and she's going to share to us today some information about it and other research topics. So, Dr. Brunner, thank you so much for your time. Happy New Year to you, and the PLUMM Study. If you can speak to it in our language as patients, I would appreciate that. So welcome, and please share with us all that you can about the study.
Well, thank you so much for the kind invitation today to be with you in your living room. And I'm so delighted to be part of your Lupus Journal. And well, let me tell you about the PLUMM Study. About 40 to 50% of children who are afflicted by lupus, they get kidney involvement, which is called lupus nephritis. Now, those who have lupus nephritis are at a higher risk of dying and getting very sick and experiencing damage from the disease if the kidney disease is not treated effectively. So the PLUMM Study is aimed at getting more effective treatments to children with lupus nephritis now. Everybody is using mycophenolate for various organ involvements with lupus. And we do know when mycophenolate is used for kidney disease as per current standard of care treatment, then about 1 in 2 patients will be in a renal remission after 6 months of therapy. And that is exactly the same number as patients whose kidney disease or persons with lupus whose kidney disease is treated with cyclophosphamide. It's 1 in 2 are in complete renal remission. Now, turns out that mycophenolate that is basically processed in the body very differently in different people. So if 2 persons of the same height and the same weight take the same dose of mycophenolate, they only have a 50-50 chance to have the same exposure, the same amount of active drug in the blood. And actually, when we did studies in the past, only 1 out of 3 patients had enough, 2 out of 3 patients had enough mycophenolate on board to kind of have good response to lupus nephritis. Because right now we dose by body weight, we basically have only a small chance of getting the dose right. Well, who cares about the dose of the medication? But what we do know is when the mycophenolate is dosed as per the way the body is breaking it down to get optimal amounts of active drug in the body over a 24-hour period, then actually the chances to reach complete or at least partial renal remission goes up to 90% after 6 months. So we are talking from 50% to 90% just by dosing the medication properly. So that experiment was done in adults with lupus. Now, we don't know how that translates to younger persons with lupus. And there's always the risk that if you give more medication, that you get more side effects. So our study is aimed at comparing the current way we use mycophenolate to this new way to dose by the way the person breaks the medication down, and see whether we also get higher effectiveness while having similar safety of taking the higher dose of medication. This is a multi-center study, and about 20 centers around the country are helping us enroll patients. So we hope to identify 105 patients with lupus under the age of 18 who newly have been diagnosed with lupus nephritis. And those kids will all be asked to use mycophenolate either at the regular dose or at the higher dose. And then we want to find out whether, which dose is better. And we also want to compare the safety.
Wow. So I have a question, being a lupus childhood patient. Studies, you're looking for participations, more candidates. How many more candidates do you need? And how many people, I think you said it, but how many people, can you say again, are going to be in the study?
There are going to be 105 patients in the study.
Wow.
And we are just starting recruitment, because when we do a study like that, we watch the patients very carefully because we want everybody to be safe for being part of a study. We want to make sure that the lupus remains well controlled and that they don't have side effects or experience medical events during the study that could indicate that they need to get off the study and need different treatment. So everybody going to be watched very, very closely. And study medication is given free of charge to everybody.
Yeah, and I'm sure you are aware of this. It's very difficult. We constantly look for candidates for other studies that are out there. And as young adults or older adults, it's very difficult to get an adult to agree to a study. So I can't imagine how difficult it would be to have a parent participate their child. I'm sure you have massive hurdles that you try to come over. Yeah. But people need to know that if we don't do these studies, if we don't have participation, and if we don't rise to do them, it really stifles the ability to find these new treatment plans that could ultimately give us better quality of life or put the disease into remission permanently. So I would encourage everyone that is listening, if you're a parent, if you're a young person, ask your doctor about studies. All right. And I'm sure that they'll make you feel very educated and very safe and get rid of some of those hurdles because we do need help. We do need help. How long is the study going to last for? And what does that entail? Can it be anywhere in Ohio? Do they have to come to Cincinnati? What would that look like?
Well, they can actually go to 3 different spots in Ohio. They can come to Cincinnati, they can go to Columbus or to Akron, and also to Cleveland. So we have 4 study sites in Ohio. And all sites and the patients can go to any of those sites and they will get the same treatment and they will have the same good care during the study. And I would like to emphasize that none of the patients in the study gets placebo or a sugar pill. All patients get active drugs, so they get treatment to make the lupus get better.
Okay. And how long is the study for? What
The
is that
study
participation?
is 1 year, and we measure the improvement of the lupus nephritis after 6 months. And after 6 months, we decide whether patients should remain on the study. So if the kidney disease, for whatever reason, didn't respond to the mycophenolate, then we're going to ask the doctors to offer other medications to the patients who are on the study because they may benefit from other medication that are out there on the market. And if the patients are responding to therapy, then we watch them for another 6 months to assess better the safety of the treatments.
Wow. Well, Dr. Brunner, you're quite a legend in the world of pediatrics, lupus. Will they have an opportunity to work directly with you, or they will be working with your colleagues?
They're going to be working directly with me. And
Wow.
I'm very hands-on. And actually, I have been having communication with each of the doctors at the different study sites for over a year. So we tell them about the study. We actually just are in the process to develop a recruitment video to explain the study well, both in English and in Spanish language. And we keep, in contact with the sites every 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Well, we do know that we have constituents here at the foundation that have good results with lupus and some who've had not so good results. We've also had many who have had transplants or been on dialysis. So kidney involvement is one of the very serious challenges that someone could live with lupus. We've seen young people. On the good note here, we've seen young people that had terrible times, hair loss, missing school, and thankfully they've overcome challenges and do grow up to have a new normal life. So we're always working on hope. I did not know that 40 to 50% of children with lupus wind up having lupus nephritis. That's very concerning to me. I didn't know the number was that large. And here at the foundation, we need to do a better job working with young people. And one of the challenges, quite frankly, are the parents. They're helicopter parents, as they probably should be. But it limits what we can do with the children. But I can tell you, as a child who was sick all my young life, I became ill at the age of 9. Okay, missing school, missing activities, not being able to play, always being in bed, going to the doctors. Being with other fellow Lupians can be rewarding to us to share our lives with each other. So please, parents, I know you want to guard the kids, but let's not let the helicopter slow down a little bit and bring them to a support group, or let's get them involved, or as family, let's do some family events so that they know that they're not alone and that they can share their world with people who understand what they're going through. So if they wanted to do the PLUMM study, how would they reach out to you?
They could just look on clinicaltrial.gov, but that is not a website that's very user-friendly. They could just call the lupus team or email the lupus team at Cincinnati Children's. And my email and my phone number is widely available on the web. So please just feel free to call. We are happy to get back to you and tell you more about the study. And also in the publication from the Lupus Foundation, you learn a little bit about the study. So both will be informative.
That's true.
Suzanne, you brought up the kidney transplants. Did you know that in Europe or in many parts of the country, patients who got a kidney transplant, they already received this personalized dosing of mycophenolate. So the kidney transplant is protected as much as possible of getting inflamed again. And basically the learnings we have from the transplant medicine, we now want to bring to the care of children with lupus nephritis. So we want to give them a similarly, effective way and personalized way to get the best renal outcomes.
So, this journey with lupus is incredibly challenging on many fronts, okay? Most people that I have met with lupus nephritis, and I know a lot through the years, all right? I've been here over 40 years already. They didn't even know that they had these problems with their kidneys. What really brings it to light? How does a person know? I guess one of the other challenges, how do we know what is lupus and what's not lupus when things are bothering us? What do we look for with our kidneys? What would be a sign? Because most of us only get reviewed every 3 to 4 months. What types of symptoms would, I think they're vague, and a lot of us don't know we even have kidney issues.
Mm-hmm. Well, a couple of signs. Kidney disease can affect the blood pressure. So that maybe high blood pressure kids may have headaches a lot. They may get swelling of the legs. And, when they wake up in the morning, they may have swollen eyes, because with the lupus nephritis, you lose the protein in the urine. You pee basically the protein out, and that makes the body feel swollen. Another sign is being very fatigued. But the doctor can examine the urine to see whether there are inflammatory cells in the urine. And they can also look for the amount of protein in the urine. And a regular person without kidney disease spills about no more than 200 milligrams of protein in the urine. A person with lupus nephritis can lose up to 10 grams per day. That's a big thing for the body, and basically patients lose weight and get cachectic over time because they lose so much of the protein. The ultimate test for diagnosing a person with lupus nephritis is still a kidney biopsy to see whether there is inflammation that's in the kidney, and so that will help the doctor to know how much immune suppression is needed, how much medication is needed to make the kidney healthy again and get rid of the inflammation.
Wow. So,
as you know, we do work on biomarker non-invasive ones for screening kids for lupus nephritis. So we are working on a urine test, which you can just do, at home or, in the doctor's office, to see whether you have proteins in the urine that are made in the kidney when the kidney is inflamed. Those tests are close to being available on the market now. And right now here at Cincinnati Children's, we work on a multiplex assay so that the doctors around the country can order those tests for their patients and screen for lupus nephritis more effectively.
So in order for them to be a candidate, they would be coming to already with a screening test done that spoke to lupus nephritis. Is that correct?
Well, they must have had a kidney biopsy in the past so that we know that they have severe enough lupus nephritis to need mycophenolate, because all patients in the PLUMM study get mycophenolate or Celsect.
So these kidney biopsies, it sounds horrifying. I remember when I was a grant reviewer for the Department of Defense, and they were talking about how many kidney biopsies can we do on a patient. And I just looked at them and said none, but recognizing that there is a need for it.
Yeah.
How difficult is that for a patient? Because I think it sounds probably worse than it is.
Well, the patient comes. So let me step back. Well, let me tell you about the kidney biopsy first, and then the rationale and the reason why it's needed. So a patient comes to the hospital, they get put to sleep, and they lie on their belly. And then the doctors take an ultrasound machine and push pretty much in the middle of the back a needle through the skin into the kidney. With the ultrasound, then see exactly where the kidney is and where the needle is aiming, so the patient is safe.
Mm-hmm.
And then they poke into the kidney and take out maybe 10 of about 1 million of glomeruli that are in the kidney. And then they look at this 10 little glomeruli or little filters inside the kidney, because the kidney is filtering the blood and gets rid of all the garbage in the body. They look at the filters, whether they are injured, whether they're inflamed, what is the type of injury they have, and then they can, from that, we know how to best treat the lupus nephritis. Now, I talked about the proteinuria that happens. The proteinuria can happen because there's inflammation in the kidney, for which you need to take prednisone and an immunosuppressant like mycophenolate. But likewise, you can get protein in the urine when you have damage of the kidneys because you had kidney disease in the past, you had lupus nephritis that was inflammatory in the past. Now, if the inflammation is gone and the doctor doesn't know that, they would, just looking at the protein, think you need more prednisone. But indeed, the prednisone wouldn't do anything to make the proteinuria better. It would just kind of, it would just be, the patient would just get the side effects of the immunosuppressants. And when the protein in the urine is due to the kidney damage, then you have to give medication that hold back the protein in the kidney, like ACE inhibitors. And you need to basically support the patients to take care of their somewhat injured kidney as much as possible, taking blood pressure medicines and so on.
Wow. What is the difference when someone says you're in stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, stage 4, kidney failure or disease? What does that mean?
That basically is a classification of the type of injury the doctors see on kidney biopsy. If it's a class 1, they're just little protein deposits or immune complex deposits in the kidney, and you can only see that with a special microscope after applying to the kidney a special dye. That is, nothing persons with lupus should worry too much about it, because it can be treated quite easily. What we do worry about it is class 3 and 4 lupus nephritis, where the glomerulus, the little filters in the kidney, where we have millions of them, where they get injured so that they start bleeding and their formation kind of changes so that they can't filter properly. And the larger proportion of the glomerulus is involved in the with lupus nephritis, the higher is the class. So class 4 means that more than 50% of the glomerulus is sick with lupus. And if it's class 3, you have less than 50%. With class 2, the filters itself is not involved, but just the surrounding of the filter is inflamed. With class 5, it's a little bit of a different disease. And class 6 basically means that the kidney is so sick that it cannot be salvaged, and that probably what we call renal replacement therapy is needed, which is another name for dialysis or needing a kidney transplant.
Okay. I didn't realize there was a 5. Just before we got on with you on the podcast, we had a young lady shared her story with us. She had lupus nephritis and wound up on dialysis and wound up had a kidney transplant and is thankfully doing very well right now.
Happy to hear.
Yeah, good to hear. So it's interesting that these are going to be back-to-back posts that I'm sure a lot of people are going to be interested in. So this PLUMM study, is it going to be just in Ohio, or will it be across the state? And when will the findings of it come to fruition?
Well, we need 105 patients in the study.
Okay.
And the quicker we have the 105 patients, the quicker we will be able to publish. But we hope to have the 105 patients within 2 years. We recruit all over the United States.
Okay.
From Texas to South Carolina, New Jersey, New York,
Okay,
California, everywhere.
they won't
Georgia.
have to come here though. They'll have sites in their states, right?
Right, right.
Okay, good, good. Well, all very good, interesting things, and I hope that you get flooded with phone calls and opportunities. Is there anything else on the horizon in lupus that you would like to share in regards to pediatrics?
Well, I think the exciting news is that medication development for children with lupus is actually taking off. So last year, belimumab was approved also for the treatment of lupus nephritis. And the year before, I had the privilege to be the lead physician on the study of belimumab in overall lupus. And as you know, belimumab was approved for children with lupus ages 5 and over. And I would say the next couple of weeks, probably, we will also get approval for subcutaneous belimumab, which has not been available to children yet.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a long
Yeah.
time coming.
Right.
And last year, there was also approval of voclosporin and anifrolumab and for lupus. And actually, those studies are now going on in children. So also children have access to those medications. So if you're interested in any of those studies, Cincinnati Children is a study site. And we can, participating in the study gives you access to medication other patients wouldn't get otherwise. And as I said, once being on a study, you're really getting a concierge service. You work very closely with the research physicians and with the research personnel to make sure that everybody is safe and, has a good experience on the study. All patients obviously get reimbursed for time and expenses they're having.
Okay. Wow. I am so excited about all this. I'm just trying to figure out a way to get this out into the public. We're going to post it on our website. So, everyone can go at www.lupusgreaterohio.org. If you're interested in this special magazine that we have, we can send it digitally or we can send it hard copy. Just send us a message at info@lupusgreaterohio.org. If you want to learn more about studies, you can call here directly. We do have a nurse on staff who came from research, and she can share different sites with you that speak about studies or understanding studies or the challenges and the comfort that you might get out of it. But most importantly, know that when you participate in a study, you're going to be very well watched over by the best of the best. Okay. And wow, what a difference it is when you are part of making change. And I know I've led my whole life with that, with lupus. I became very passionate about the fight, immensely changed my life. And the passion just grew. The extension of my family grew, and you can make a difference. And as I always say, there is no I in the word lupus, but there is the word us. So, Dr. Brunner, I am not going to keep you any longer. Thank you for the clarity. I hope that will be a lot of patients that will participate, that will come out of this. And again, if you want to reach out to us, we can reach out to our office. If you want to have a conversation, you can start here. Okay. And we really hope that you participate and that you become more involved in the lupus, the war on lupus, which hopefully someday we can eradicate, but we can't do that without everybody's help. Dr. Brunner, thank you for coming to my lupus living room, for your precious gift of time. I'm very grateful for all you do for all my fellow Lupians. And we're wishing you a happy new year. I know you have a lot of work in front of you, and I hope your life is filled with grace, peace, and good health to you as well. And that's it for us, Dr. Brunner. When this is posted, Alex will give you a push and let you see it. We have, to my audience, we did have a crisis with the video, so you'll probably be able to hear it better than you can see it. But we hope you continue to join us on our Lupus Living Room and our podcast here at the Lupus Foundation. Thanks to all. Goodbye. Thank you, Dr. Brunner. Thank you very much. Remember, there is no I in lupus, but there is an us. Until next time, this has been my Lupus Living Room with the Lupus Foundation of America's Great Ohio Chapter. For more information and resources to help you in your lupus journey, please visit lupusgreatohio.org or call 1-888-NO-LUPUS. The funding for my Lupus Living Room is an earmark from the state of Ohio and managed by the Ohio Department of Health. Your physician is the best person to help you in the treatment of lupus. The information you learned here today can be discussed with your doctor, as your physician knows your medical history best. Please do not make any medical changes without consulting your physician first. As with any treatment, stay educated and get information from trusted sources.